What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Crocs and Hot Pockets podcast. My name is Ashnichrist, and today is Sunday, August 19th, 2018, and this is episode number 69. Let's go.
Oh, yeah, it is.
This episode is a 1v1, and today our guest is the very honorable, very helpful, and equally as famous Ashnichrist. How's it going today?
Equally as famous? Wait, what?
In my life.
Nice. Well, thank you. Thanks so much for having me, Knackers. Let me do my traditional, the podcast guest who is being introduced normal thank you moment here. Thank you so much for having me on your show. I'm really excited to be here.
You're totally welcome. You being here was actually totally random, and we don't even know each other. This is gonna be fun.
Wow. Yeah, this is gonna be great. Nice to meet you guys.
Nice to meet you guys as well. We're going to get back to Ash in just one second. During the show, if any of you guys would like to submit a question to be answered at the end of the podcast for a Q&A, if you use ! question followed by your question in chat, the bot will grab that and we'll answer those at the end of the show. Of course, if you're not live and you want to send in a question at any time, you can send any emails to crocs@ashnichrist.com. And of course, last but not least, if you enjoy the podcast and you want to come back and you want to find a way to support the show in a completely free way, please consider reviewing the podcast on iTunes. And that really, really helps people like us out. So, Ashnichrist, first of all, before I went live, I thought having your name with Christ in the going live notification was what was triggering the don't say that to your grandma alert, but it was actually the number 69. So tell us who you are, where can we find you online, and what you're all about. I
am the person that was born to be the 69th episode of your podcast. This is what I've trained for my entire life. I'm feeling very sassy today. Yes. So
sassy is good.
My name is Ashnichrist, and I create content to help streamers. So I'm all about helping streamers pursue their dreams and learn to stream. I've got a podcast myself, actually. It's called the Stream Coach Podcast. And I have a YouTube channel where we're posting like 3 or 4 videos a week. I stream live on Twitch Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday at 12 p.m. Central Time. But everything that I do, like literally everything, is to help streamers because I've been in a position before where I wanted to be successful at streaming. And it was just the only thing that was on my mind for so long. I was like, I have this goal, but why the heck can I not get more than 15 people watching me? Like, what is wrong with me? What's going on with me? Am I not entertaining enough? Am I not attractive enough? What's wrong with me, right? And so I've learned a lot. The past 3 years, I've spent all of my free time just learning as much as I possibly can about content creation and audience development and honestly, like how to be a better leader and just a better person overall and how to have a better mindset, because a big part of streaming is cultivating a positive mindset and just being a good person. Like, yeah, entertaining is massive, but also a lot of it just comes down to those soft skills and that confidence that you have in yourself. So everything that I've done the past 3 years, I consistently say, like, I haven't really like listened to music or watched TV or done much other than just absorbed as much information as I possibly could by some of my mentors and some of the most successful people that I've ever seen around. And now I've really brought as much knowledge as I possibly can back to the Twitch community. And it's really important for me to kind of like help those people who are in the situation now that I was in, back in 2015 when I was a full-time streamer, but I was still struggling and I couldn't really get to these like viewership levels that people told me like I should be at. And I didn't know anything about how to grow a community. I knew nothing. And even though I was full-time, I was in that position where I was like, I feel like something is missing. And I still had that desperation. And at one point, I actually had my biggest financial contributor call me on Skype, and he said, there will be a lot of people who make it on Twitch, but it will never be you. And that's a story that I think resonates with a lot of people because so many of us have had someone come to us and say like, hey, you can never do this thing. Like, you're never going to be good at this, no matter how hard you try. Too bad. Sorry. And it's really easy to get down and depressed, which I did as well. And a lot of people give up. But I think with streaming, it's the same with anything in life, being tenacious and learning as much as you can and not deviating from the goal, no matter how long it takes. It's absolutely available for you, whatever goal out there for you to reach, whatever, it could be content creation, but a lot of what I do too is just helping people gain more self-confidence and self-love and being better people, and self-development is a big part of what I do as well, which I just absolutely love it. And so I really think that like tenacity and just going after those goals and pursuing that dream that you have in your life is so huge. It's massive.
Absolutely.
And why would we not want to? Why would we not want to, right? Our time is so finite.
It's funny that you say tenacity, because one of my all-time favorite quotes that I've tried to live by for the past 5 years was Henry Rollins' quote, and he says, "I don't have talent, I have tenacity." And because of that,
oh my God.
I knew that I was going to make it, because I knew that I had that drive and that will to actually be successful and make something of myself. Because as you know, mindset is at least half of everything.
Mm-hmm. That's so huge too, because a lot of people think that like if you're gonna make it, quote unquote, in streaming, that you just have to be talented, right? Like you just have to have this like innate, just natural ability for it. But a lot of people don't sit down in front of a camera the first time and they're just like go and their talent. Like that's not how this works. I'm not a big believer in like natural, just I was born with this kind of talent. It doesn't really develop that way for the people that see massive amounts of success, at least, and see like consistent long-term success. Like maybe if that happens for you and you kind of reach success very quickly, sometimes it's more difficult for you to stick around with it because you didn't have to go through all of those trials and tribulations in order to become the person who deserved the success, right? So I think honestly, yeah, that's awesome. That's such a freaking good quote,
it
dude.
Really is, yeah. Because like when I look at myself as a streamer I first started in 2013, I was terrible. I was a terrible caster. And one of the reasons I was so drawn to your content when I first found it was because your content wasn't like, this is what you have to do to be successful. It was, these are the things that you need to work on so that you can have a chance at being successful. Mm-hmm. And that's what I was like, because nobody's like, there's so many base things that a lot of streamers are just born with. A small percentage of people can turn on the camera and just kill it almost right away. And other people like myself, and I know a couple other people out there, like we really had to build a craft from scratch and really work on a different set of skills as time went on. So basically, real quick before we jump into the guest interview, what the 1v1 podcast is it's a show that's half for me and a show that's half for the community. The first half is the guest interview, so I can get to know the person, because the reason that I invite them on the show is because I like their content, I like what kind of person they are, and I want to pry. I want to ask them questions. I want to know about them. And then the second half is we usually dive into a little bit more of detailed content. And we kind of, maybe talk about a couple points that are hot topics at the moment. And so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to jump into this guest interview, and then we'll get back to all the juicy stuff later on the show. But,
yeah, let's do it.
So you pretty much answered who you are. Now, where are you from?
I am originally from Oklahoma, but I live in Austin, Texas now, and I absolutely love it. This is an amazing city.
Is there a little Kappa in there?
No, not at all. Okay, there would be a Kappa if I said I love Oklahoma.
Okay.
The city that I lived in, Oklahoma is just so small, honestly, and I feel like with content creation, a lot of it is, being inspired, and a lot of it comes from being in an environment that makes you feel creative. And I think more so with like YouTube and maybe even with podcasting, that you want to be in like a city that inspires you. With Twitch, I don't know that it necessarily matters as much, because you're just freaking playing video games in your house. So you're probably, if you're streaming all the time, you're not really leaving that much. Right. So the city doesn't matter. But I did notice that my beginning of my career with streaming, I started in 2013 as well. I lived in Oklahoma and I felt like very just kind of claustrophobic almost. Like it was a very small city in comparison to Austin. In Austin, there's so much life everywhere. It's like the music capital of the United States. It's crazy. There's always something happening. There's festivals every weekend. So I know like if the streaming content, if I kind of want to like pivot outside of that and deviate away from that and do more like maybe vlogging or like city, you know, day in my life kind of stuff, then there's so many opportunities for me to actually go out and live a more full life. And I think just in general, living a full life is important, and it's easier to do in a city that inspires you.
Right. How hot is it right now? Real nasty. Uh-oh. Discord's dying. Robot, can you hear me? Nope. And there goes the call.
Sorry.
Is it better now?
Yeah, you sound crazy. You sound like, you know, whenever Discord starts to fail and it's just like super bad.
Yep.
Yeah.
So the last question was like, how hot is it right there? And what's the temperature?
Oh, I think it was 102 today, and I was like outside working, so it's not the greatest.
Oh God, no, thank you.
I know. I do really miss like rain and snow, and Oklahoma had tornado season, which sounds really scary for a lot of people, but it was kind of the time of my freaking life. It's kind of exhilarating whenever you get a tornado warning and there's sirens going off. Right. It's raining really hard. You're like, ooh, uh-oh.
Twister.
Oh no. Ooh, dangerous.
All right, next question. What is your favorite word?
My favorite word? Probably moist. No.
Of course.
I just had to say it because, you know, everyone's going to be like, ew.
Yeah, gross.
Probably lexicon. I think like I never get the chance to use lexicon as a word. And so whenever that opportunity arises, I always use it whenever I can. It makes you sound so smart.
Okay, for those of us with a double-digit IQ, can you use that word in a sentence for us?
It's the same thing as vocabulary.
God, okay. No, that sounds real fancy then. God damn.
Yeah, it's just way fancier. It's like a nicer way to say vocab.
Got it. Okay. What's your favorite curse word?
Can I curse on your podcast?
Oh, fucking yeah, you can.
Oh, shit. I never curse on stream, so Yamfam's gonna be like, who is this?
You know, I did notice that, which is I usually open up the podcast with what's going on, motherfuckers, welcome. But I knew that you didn't use such language. So I was like, you know what, if we're gonna be inviting a new community, maybe we could tone it down a little bit.
It's okay. It's your space, right?
Right.
Mine's probably like I think just whenever I get frustrated, it's not even that fancy. It's just shit, probably. Yeah. Whenever I get mad, I'm like, shit.
Yep.
But I say it like that. I'm like, shit.
It's got very harsh sounds. Harsh start, harsh end.
Yeah.
If you weren't streaming or pursuing a career in content creation whatsoever, what would be your second choice?
Oh my God. Wow, this is such a good question. I would probably do, I think the most interested I'd ever been in a job, I actually interviewed for a like community management position at Evernote. So really? I'd probably be working like corporate America 9-to-5 job, but for some kind of like productivity business. So like Evernote or Todoist or something like that, helping to do some kind of like creative side or some side of the business that's really heavily people focused.
Okay. All right. Good answer.
Yeah.
Describe your perfect Sunday morning.
Perfect Sunday morning. I wish that I could go back to the weekend mornings that were cartoons and cereal and just hanging out in my pajamas. that would honestly be perfect.
Is it very rare for you to have a full day where you don't do a damn thing?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that never happens.
Okay.
I can't think of the last time that happened, actually.
Right.
Probably in April when I went on vacation. I went on a cruise in April, and that's, I think, the last time that I didn't do anything for content in a single day.
Do you long to go on vacation, or are you perfectly okay just grinding all the time?
I love the grind. I do. Okay, but here's a good quote for you, since you gave me one earlier.
Bye.
Okay. All right. So in life, there are absolutely times where we need to work hard, but as a lifestyle, hustle and grind are unsustainable. So to me, what that means is that I can't just always grind forever and ever and ever and never expect to have like a couple of weeks or a month where I feel more relaxed, right? Like my mind as a human freaking being is not meant to work every single day, 16 hours a day, 365. It just does not happen like that. Like we don't have that ability. That's why they made, the 8 hour thing, like 8 hours of work, 8 hours of rest, 8 hours of going to bed, or, hobbies or whatever you do, I guess. But I would absolutely love to integrate more kind of vacation time into my life. Right now, I'm very much like working for the future. I'm very heavily geared into like work mode right now, but I know at some point that might change. I don't think that I'll ever stop doing content creation completely. And I don't think that I'll ever stop, the podcast or the YouTube streaming. Those are all things that I love so, so, so much. But if it came down to it and, I get into the position where I'm able to work from like the freaking beach, yes,
Absolutely.
because I don't want my life to feel like I don't want my life to feel like it's work with vacation scattered in there. I want my life to feel like it's fun time with a lot of vacations, right? Like I want to not be dreading every single day, all the time that I've got in my life, and then just waiting for the next vacation. That's the last kind of life that I had. And every 9-to-5 job that I worked, I felt that way.
Yep.
But with content creation, I feel like I'm hustling and I'm grinding right now, absolutely. But I know that in the future, it's going to look a little bit different, and I'm really excited for that. It's going to be awesome.
Good.
I love vacationing. Oh my God. Yes. I even today, like literally an hour ago, was talking to my boyfriend. We came back from getting some wine no. And I was like, I want to go on a vacation. Where do you want to go next? And I literally got back from California 2 weeks ago. So I'm all the time looking at the next place I can visit. Ready
to go. All right, good. What's your biggest pet peeve, streaming related or non?
Oh my gosh, this is so good. Oh, it's probably whenever people like scrape their forks against plates.
Yeah.
Because it makes that like sound, and it's, oh God, it's so gross. It actually, oh.
It's such an ear-piercing sound that causes physical repercussions.
It's nails on a chalkboard for me.
All right, kind of shifting gears to a more serious set of questions. Burp or fart?
I burp all the time.
Okay.
So absolutely that one.
Okay. If you could be the opposite sex for one day, what's the first thing you would do?
Make more money.
Wow! Polygon, don't clip that! Please, God! I have never had anybody answer it that way. That is perfect. Okay. All right. Pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. But not Canadian bacon because it's gross.
It's ham. It's the same.
It's gross.
Why is it gross?
It's gross. Because it's like hard on the outsides. It's like old ham. If it was like hamburger and pineapple, or like pineapple and olives or something, that would be infinitesimally better.
The Deadpool special, as I like to call it.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Sun chips, harvest cheddar, garden salsa, or neither?
Oh God, they're both so good. How are you going to do this to me?
Because these are the questions that tell me if I'm ever going to talk to this person again. So you have to answer very carefully.
Oh my God. How do you choose between, literally, you chose my favorite two?
Because harvest cheddar is the right answer. That's why.
Oh, well, that's incorrect. It's actually garden salsa.
There it is. Oh, see, it comes out. The sass comes out. If you could bathe in anything other than water and be completely clean afterwards, what's your number one choice?
chocolate milk.
Oh, okay. Like 2% with chocolate syrup, or like grab off the shelf.
It would have to be okay. It would have to be like lactose free chocolate milk.
Got
so
it.
like oh my god. Oh, that chocolate almond milk by is it Silk? It's like so thick. Oh,
Silk, and the other one is Almond Breeze. Is the
yeah,
other brand?
Almond Breeze, and then there's like Lactate, and there's. You know what it's like, right?
Okay, so you know how it's I can't remember if it's on Silk or Almond Breeze, but at the top it says please use within 7 days of opening.
What?
Yeah. Okay, so maybe you've never even noticed, and you've been drinking spoiled almond milk your entire life.
Probably. So can I change my answer then? Can I actually bathe in spoiled almond milk?
Yes. I thought you were going to change your answer from Garden Salsa to Harvest Cheddar, but
wrong!
That's okay. When I post your answers afterwards, I'll put the right answer down. So, what keyboard and mouse do you currently use?
I have a Razer Black Widow Chroma, and then I have a Logitech. Oh my gosh, I don't know.
Does it have a bunch of buttons?
I have a Logitech something. I think it actually like came with. No, I can't remember. It's a Logitech something mouse, but I have a Razer Black Widow Chroma keyboard, and actually the semicolon on that keyboard has been busted since I got it. So every time that I use my desktop, I actually have to like go up to the URL and copy the little colon so that I'm able to give people links.
Oh my lord.
Or if I want to make like little emojis or faces and anything that I'm doing on my desktop, I have to copy the colon from the URL.
I have a spare Corsair K70 RGB. Do you want it?
Maybe. DM me after.
I will,
slide in those DMs.
I will literally gift it to you. I tried to sell it for nothing. Nobody wanted it. I'll give it to you if you want, because you can't be having broken keys. It's not gonna.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's annoying.
We'll talk. What's the craziest shit to happen to you on Twitch?
What?
You said it was your favorite word. I had to enunciate.
Okay. The craziest
ish.
Okay. Did it ever happen to me on Twitch? Man, honestly, I think it's like it's coming back, because we've only been back these like last 2.5 months. Like I said earlier, I've been on Twitch since 2013, and I sucked at it for a long time. I went full time in 2015. But whenever that person told me, like, you're never going to be anything, I never really got fully invested into it again until recently. And we've been back for 2.5 months, and it just is bizarre. It is crazy the amount of things that has happened, and the change that has happened in my life since I've come back. And it's wild, because before I even started streaming, I had to ask and have conversations with a handful of people because I was too afraid to come back. Because I knew, making the podcast episode or making the podcast, making the YouTube videos, I knew people were gonna kind of be looking at me and seeing if I was going to be able to fulfill all of those things that I've been talking about, or if all of this advice actually freaking works, right? Because that's, I can talk all day and teach all day, but if the advice doesn't freaking help anybody and I can't go anywhere with it, then how useful is it actually? It's not. And so I was really afraid, and a lot of people encouraged me to get started. And now, we've hit some amazing goals, and it's just, it's crazy to see. And it has been the best 2.5 months ever.
Would you,
ever on Twitch?
A super quick segue, would you say that when you got back into creating content, would you say that it just felt right because you found something, you were making content for yourself, but also at the same time, you knew that you were making content that was going to bring value? Is that something that you lacked before?
Okay, so let me take a second.
Go for it.
To commend you on your freaking interview skills right now, because you've got some that are prepared and you've got some that you're getting off the cuff. This is so freaking good. Knackers, 10 out of 10.
Stop it, you're gonna make me blush.
Great job. So yes, absolutely. I think that a really difficult thing to figure out as a new streamer, and I think this is for really anyone who hasn't jumped into content creation before, is to figure out what value actually freaking means. Like, what does that mean? Because you always hear streamers
Yep.
that have some kind of amount of success say you need to make your streams valuable. Like, they need to be valuable. There needs to be some kind of value for the people that are watching you. But they never really explain what that is. So you're like trying to figure it out for so freaking long. You're like, what is this? What is this? And I was the same way for years. I was like, okay, my streams need to be more valuable, but what is value? What is it?
Yep.
Like, I don't know how to put that into my stream if nobody tells me what it freaking is. And so I think the entire time, struggling with first streaming on Twitch, and it took me actually 4 months to talk to my chat. So getting beyond that level up to, going full time and struggling there and still feeling like something is missing and something's off, and then leaving and coming back just randomly for either podcast episodes or for just to try it again, just because I always felt like, in my heart, I really wanted to make something of Twitch. I really wanted to find what my thing was, and I could never freaking figure it out. But now my entire life has completely changed. And that's 100% because I have spent so much time learning just as much as I possibly could about content creation.
When I first found you, I believe you were just shy of 1,000 subs on Twitch, and you weren't streaming on Twitch then. So this is probably about, I'll have to check Twitter to see when I followed you on Twitter, but I'm guessing maybe around like a year ago is when I first came across your content. And to your point of value, it wasn't until it was the 4th or 5th stream that I watched of you when you were rating other people's Twitch profiles, and you kept going down to the panels and saying, I don't see anywhere in your panels why you're here or why you're doing what you're doing. And it wasn't until you actually reviewed my channel and I said, you know what? Why am I here? What am I doing here? What do I want to get out of Twitch? What do I want to give value to Twitch? And it wasn't until I sat there for an hour or two and put it into words when it finally clicked in my head, like why I'm here and why I'm doing what I'm doing. So thank you, because you're the one who helped me put that into words.
That makes me so happy. That's such a hard thing to do, right?
Yep.
And I know a lot of people say like streaming is more than just being on camera. It's more than, there's a lot of back end stuff that you have to do, but a lot of the back end stuff that is just normal is like, yeah, we know we should be on Twitter and Instagram. We know we should be emailing people and talking in other Discords, but I feel like a lot of stuff that's left out of the conversation is just that time that you spend literally sitting down, just thinking about yourself and self-development and figuring out like that why, which is so massive.
Yep.
That's amazing.
Okie smoky. Just a couple more questions. What are your feelings, if you could summarize it? Because I don't want to take away too much time from later on with our points, but what's your feeling, like your gut feeling towards the current state of Twitch right now and what it means to be a creator on this platform?
Oh, this is so good. I think that there is just so much potential. Okay, first off, there's a ton of potential and there's also a ton of fear, and you can't realize like your full potential without conquering that fear. Like that's something that I talk about a lot, is just the amount of fear that's actually just so prevalent in the Twitch community is incredibly massive. It is so pervasive, but I do see Twitch as like, it's kind of the ultimate platform because you've got YouTube and it's fantastic. Being able to create a community over there based on videos and based on just the uniqueness that you're delivering to that platform. But I feel like Twitch is completely different because you get that one-on-one interaction with people, which is not served in a produced video. So there's so much potential. There are so many communities that don't have live streamers for them yet. And Twitch is always actively looking, like this is what their content acquisition team does. They're actively looking for new communities that are extremely passionate, that can transform their time together into a live show. And the people that can figure those things out, like how do I make a live show out of gardening? How do I make a live show out of fixing a car? The first people that can find those out, figure out the answer to that question, like they get that first mover advantage, and they really can do anything. Like they are the people that start an entirely new wave of whatever it is. And it, I saw this by kind of doing the stream coaching thing. And then there's so much more opportunity out there. So many people can do literally the exact same thing that I did, but for some other value, some other kind of uniqueness.
Yep.
And also I think that kind of goes hand in hand with fear. And fear to me is incredibly pervasive because this industry is so dominated by numbers. Like a lot of your value is determined by how many people are watching you, by how many followers you have, by how much money they're giving you. And it's ridiculous. It's honestly ridiculous. And even though so many of us know, like, don't attach yourself to the numbers, don't worry about those, that doesn't matter at all, there's still a lot of people that get really, really disheartened, and they're unfulfilled, and they're upset with their content. They start comparing themselves with other creators, or they start talking down about other creators, or like subtweeting them because they're jealous, or because they're maybe they're not seeing growth. But it's such a shame to have those feelings and to be throwing out that kind of negativity and to be responding to that fear that you have inside of yourself, instead of focusing on that fear. And a lot of people don't even know that it's freaking fear. But whenever you start to study fear and realize that fear is incredibly pervasive here, you start seeing it everywhere.
Yep.
The minute that you start really checking in on yourself and seeing, like, what am I afraid of, and why do I want to be negative right now? Is it because I'm afraid of something? Am I trying to control something? Well, what is it? And then turning inward and figuring that out, I think, is way more important and is way more impactful, instead of like tearing other people down or making them feel, or being afraid to like reach out and collaborate with others.
Right.
That's something that's so many people are afraid of doing, because they don't want to look like they're stepping on somebody to try and like get more viewers and rise to the top.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't believe in that idea at all. Like, I don't think that when someone reaches out to me, they're just using me to get somewhere else. Like, right. It's not competition. Like, if you have a scarcity mindset like that, it's because you think that there's some kind of competition for you, or they're trying to be better than you. But if you literally relinquish that number and that fear of like the numbers, that power that they have over you, then you start to look more towards collaboration, and collaboration is opportunity.
Yep.
Like, we can go and we can make anything with anybody, regardless of size, as long as it's helpful for both of the communities involved.
Right.
And it doesn't have to be this thing of like, you're just looking for more viewers. You're just looking to step on their head and get to the next level, and you'll forget about them someday. But there's so much more too that's pervasive about fear. That's just a really common one as well. But yeah, that's my gut feeling.
What most people, I think, well, here's a first question. Do you think that fear comes from the heart or it comes from the mind?
Oh my gosh, this is so good. I mean, I guess a little bit of both.
I would also say both.
Yeah, because I think like people become afraid because they've been burned in the past. And I think the reason that they were burned in the past is because they're attached to an outcome. And being attached to an outcome means that you have some kind of expectation. So if you go into like literally every situation in content creation with zero expectations, which is really difficult to do, but if you do it, that kills any possibility of you getting hurt, of you being afraid. It's also the same as like, quote unquote networking advice here. I feel, I don't like the word networking because it has like weird connotations.
Yep.
But I think that something that's really important that we can learn from it is and this is learning from like the traditional sense of networking, is not to go into any relationship expecting to receive something, but it's just going into any opportunity, any relationship, any interaction, any like IRL or on Twitch, just giving. Yep. And giving as much as you can. And of course there are boundaries for that. Like, you can't just give until you're completely spent and your cup isn't full anymore. Yeah. But I do think that, that idea of just give, and if you can create something awesome together, that's great. But I have huge people on my podcast all the time, but I'll work with like people of all sizes. I don't care, because I know that as long as I'm creating something that's beneficial for myself and for the Yam fam and for, both the host and the guest and the host community as well. Like, I don't care about the numbers.
Right.
It's still impacting lives regardless of how freaking many people it is.
Yep.
It doesn't matter. It does not matter.
Spoken like a true Gary Vee fan.
I see that in there.
One thing that I was trying to think of a tweet that I saw you respond to the other day. Your response was, "That's such a sad way to go through life."
Oh my God, you saw that one.
I did, because I thought, I kind of thought the same way, but I can't remember the context of the tweet, but I saw it.
Yeah, I remember that one. I actually, I almost didn't respond to that, because I was like, I don't want to. I know there are a ton of people out there, especially in like the Twitterverse, who kind of disagree with the things that I talk about, and that's okay. Like, they're living their own lives, and that's perfect, and that's awesome, and I want them to. But it's a little difficult to see fear pervasive in this industry in that kind of way, in a way that people are using their platform to discourage others because of their own fear.
Yep.
Right? Like, that, to me, that hurts my heart. You're holding other people back because you're afraid of your own outcome if you do the exact same thing that you're trying to discourage them from doing.
Right.
So I can't remember the person that posted it. I'd never seen this person before, but they said basically that some people will, they'll be your friend until they get something out of you, and then they'll never talk to you again. So what's the point of even making friends and talking to people? Or what's the point of even opening up your heart and trusting people? Yeah. So it was basically encouraging people to have a wall around themselves and to not reach out and not try to collaborate and to basically be afraid, right? And that's one of those things. I'm like, fear. It's so freaking pervasive. That's why that idea exists.
Yep.
That's why people are pushing. And you see these retweets all the time from people that are like, they have this like scarcity mindset of don't be aware of the people that are just out there looking to use you. Be careful, because those people are blah, blah, blah. And they're trying to warn people against this like weird situation. Most people aren't looking to use you.
Yeah.
Most people are actually afraid of coming to you to collaborate with you because they don't want to be seen as someone who uses you, because most people don't freaking want to use you.
Right.
Most people are empathetic. Like, most people do care. And it hurts me. It hurts me to see those
I
things.
struck a chord. No,
it's
a good mindset to have, because it's really easy to get caught up in all of that, and people who don't know better can get steered in the wrong direction, and then it's kind of a hard mindset to get off of.
It's such a toxic thing. It's such a toxic mindset, because it's like you're going to hold yourself back from amazing opportunities because somebody just, you don't know their aspirations or their motives.
Yep.
Okay. But okay, my girl Oprah taught me this, and she said, assume positive intent. Okay. And I always listen to my girl Oprah.
No shame there.
Assume positive intent. Assume positive intent, and your life is going to be freaking amazing. Assume negative intent from everyone. Guard your heart, guard your potential, and you will never realize the full actualized amazing version of yourself that you could be.
Absolutely. And to your point of collaboration, a lot of people forget that let's say you're opening up a magic portal, and on your side is you, and on the other side is the other creator. It's not a one-way mirror. It's a two-way. So everyone could be thinking, oh, you might just be using them to get their viewers. And it's like, yeah, but also some of your viewers could also travel their way as well.
Yeah, that's such a good point.
Yep. All right, last question. If you had to pick one moment in your life that defined who you are today, what moment would you choose?
Oh my God, this is so good. And I have a perfect answer for this.
Good.
So it definitely goes back to my story, which I've mentioned a little bit. So I started streaming on Twitch in 2013, and it took me 4 months to talk to my chat, and I sucked. I sucked at this for a long, long time. Even though I was in speech and debate and drama class all throughout school, I never for some reason gotten comfortable in front of cameras in the way that you really need to be successful on Twitch. So I sucked for a long time, somehow still ended up going full time in 2015 because I had amazing support from a very core group of people that really believed in me and wanted to see me succeed. And eventually, like I still knew something was wrong, something was off, and I wasn't really growing in the way that these people, especially like one person, expected. And so I got that call where I just moved to Austin. I just moved to this big city, got a bunch of stuff for streaming. I had my own stream room. I was all set up to live this perfect, like, I'm a full-time streamer lifestyle. And this like major financial contributor of mine called me and said, there will be a lot of people who make it on Twitch, but it will never be you. And that was really, I had no idea that moment was going to be such a defining moment for me. But now here we are. It's actually massive. It's actually been like something that's so huge for me. And the more that I research about this and look into this, a lot of the most successful people became successful because they had someone that said, like, hey, you can't do this. Hey, you're not going to be anything. And they're like, you know what? I'm going to show you.
Yep.
I'm tired of that. Like, I've been told that before in my life. I've absolutely been told that before in my life. People have been like, you can't do this. And I think we all have. But for some reason, that one really struck a chord in me. I think it's because the amount of like support that I had from that person, like they flew me out to New York. They took me to a bunch of like esports events. They did so much for me. And to have someone that's like that invested in you say that to you, like, threw me into a massive depression. I stopped streaming. I just was on the couch for months. I didn't really like do anything except for eat and watch Netflix. And then one day I was like, you know what? I'm tired of feeling tired and sick all the time. I'm just going to go to the gym, and I'm tired of wallowing and just being sad. And I think, you know, a lot of people understand that, where you're tired of doing one thing. You're just tired of your state. And so you're like, I'm just going to switch it up in some way. So I went to the gym and found podcasting. Actually, I found podcasts, and podcasts introduced me to just business and marketing and entrepreneurship and community growth and content creation and all of that. And I learned from some amazing people. And now here we are.
And now we're here.
Yay!
So I actually, full transparency, when I first found you, I saw a couple topics that you were talking about, and I saw a couple videos, and I obviously had no idea who you were or your story. And my first reaction was, who is this girl? Mm-hmm. Is she another Twitter evangelist, as I like to call them? It's like, does she actually know her stuff, or, you know, what's going on? And had I been myself 5 years ago, I would have immediately written you off and just went on and I wouldn't have gone any further with research. But one of the things that I'm trying to do nowadays is the people that I come across that I question, look into it and give them a chance. Don't judge the book by its cover, and really try to get in and see what they're up to. And I'm glad I did, because I was led to your YouTube channel, which I don't know how many, probably over 100 hours, I would say, of stuff that I've watched of you.
Oh my God.
I don't even know if you have 100 hours worth of stuff, but I know that I've watched some videos over and over.
Rewatch.
Like, I've got a lot of watch time, and because that we're here now, and I've gotten so much value from the content that you've created. So it's, like I said, it's an honor to have you here.
That's so awesome. I'm so glad that you like looked a little further into it. I know that there are definitely, and I've had this, I'm just like, who are you to talk about this thing? You don't even know. Like, who are you? Come on. I've been doing this way longer, but it's, you know, some of the things that I talk about are definitely refreshers that people have heard before, but there's also a lot that people definitely have not. Yeah. It goes so much deeper than just like, have a schedule, be consistent, stream unsaturated games. Like, this is this goes deeper, my friends. This goes deeper. Being entertaining goes deeper. Being like, having a mission and having energy behind what you're doing it's so important. I cannot stress like how freaking important it is to community growth. It's really, really great. At the same time, not everybody succeeds with the same things. And there's plenty of examples of people that have broken literally all of the rules that I'm talking. They are just successful anyways. So, it's hard to say.
Well, one of the kind of our target of us moving into kind of our tips and tricks for new streamers is we're targeting people who might be new to streaming, or maybe you're just somebody who's been streaming for a while, but maybe you still need a little bit of guidance. And we kind of wrote up a couple major points that we wanted to talk about. And obviously, like, one of the like pillars of this show is going off on tangents, so don't ever fear like you have to like stay on one topic. So one of the first questions I want to ask is when you were a small streamer, and I want to go back to before you made like your comeback, like when you were first starting, what was one of the biggest motivational pieces that kind of kept you going?
Oh, this is so good. Man, whenever I was small, honestly, like the mindset now is so different. It's so different. Because now I'm very much motivated by my fulfillment from streaming and my potential to impact lives. And I think back then that was definitely there. But I also think that a big motivation for me was just trying to make gaming my life, like my job. I think that a lot of people get into Twitch for that reason, and it's very easy whenever you're newer at the platform to see people that they have hundreds or thousands of viewers and they're playing video games for a living and they're just literally sitting there and people are tipping them. What is this? It's crazy to see that. And so for a long time for me, I was like, oh, all I have to do is like stream and be live and turn on my camera and talk to people whenever I'm not live, and that's it. And that's all that I need, and I can be successful, hopefully. And I think a big part for me was definitely getting out of my just job and lifestyle that I didn't hate. Once I found content creation and Twitch too, I was like, I can do this full time. This would be awesome. Mm-hmm. This would be awesome. So it was always an idea for me eventually to do that at some point, or at least to try it at some point. And I think part of it too, in the very, very beginning, was I just wanted to make some friends. So I just wanted to meet people, and I wanted to see what would it be like if I had a brand that was based on who I am, mm-hmm. Which is wild. It's wild to think that online people we're brands now.
We're interesting.
Like we're brands. No. Like personal brands are a thing. Like everyone has a personal brand, and everyone, if you think about it, is kind of like a business in a way. So it's really interesting to me to see that. So yeah, that was probably in the beginning, the potential. I think I just saw the potential for what could happen and what Twitch could open up for me and the opportunities I could have. And that was really what drew me to it.
Did you start out with the mindset of I want to play video games for a living, or I want to be a broadcaster for a living? Like, ooh. In what light did you see it?
It was definitely video games, because back then they didn't really have like IRL. They didn't really have creative. They didn't have any of these other sections. Twitch was all games. So back then I was like, I'm going to play games, but also be a broadcaster. So like the idea wasn't me playing games and making money in like tournaments or making money from, gaming in any way, but it was always me playing games as a broadcaster, and that's what I wanted to do full time.
Okay. How did you, I kind of skipped over this question in my initial set, but how did you find Twitch? What brought you to Twitch?
An ex-boyfriend.
Gross!
Yucky.
No.
Yeah, he showed me in 2012, and when I first saw it, I was like, this is freaking weird. Why would people watch other people play video games? And then I was like, wait, why would people watch other people play video games and pay them? Wait, why would people watch other people play video games and like they have hundreds of thousands of people follow? What is going on here?
Right.
It was the weirdest, because my entire life I'd always been like that weird girl that played video games, and now it was cool. Right. So it's really weird to go from being the only person to now I'm like a small fish in a big sea of people that also play video games. And now it's the cool kids table is filled with people that play video games.
Right. But now
so
the cool kids are podcasting and the lamos are playing video games.
Yeah.
Do you play video games anymore?
Not lately. No,
yeah.
It sucks. Actually, the last time I really played a lot of games was January.
Wow.
It sucks. Yeah, I was sick. I had the flu for like a month in January.
I remember that.
I just played The Witcher 3.
I just played that for the first time like a month ago.
Oh my god, it's so good.
Yeah, it's really good.
Do you have a folder of screenshots of the sex scenes? Because I do.
I have videos. I have high definition
oh my
videos.
God. Yeah.
Okay, wait a minute. You know, you can
it's so sexy.
You can go to any porn site and just search that game and get way better. Not that I've seen it.
But it's so fun because you get to make the decisions. It's like you're trying to, you're making decisions and you're I'm trying to get laid. Like, yeah, let's go.
You banged everyone, didn't you?
I tried to. Yes.
My chat kept telling me, Knackers, keep in your pants, pick one, and just go that route. And I ended up getting the good ending, so I'm glad that I did.
Oh, nice. That's good.
Now, one of my favorite parts about being a broadcaster is getting feedback from the community and trying to take what they are recommending and trying to implement it into my show. Now, it's very easy to get this misconstrued with you have to please everyone, so you have to listen to what everybody says in order to be successful. But what I more so mean is there's no possible way you, as someone who's been streaming for 6 months or a year, can know everything that needs to be known. Like just in Twitch etiquette alone, you can't learn everything that you need to know within the first couple months. You got to spend a lot of time on the platform. So I know some things that I do in order to get feedback from my community, but I want to throw that question over to you. Are there any specific rituals that you practice in order to gather, I would say constructive criticism or just any sort of feedback from your community?
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the most powerful things that you could do is just ask during your stream. I think that's like super powerful and very just underappreciated almost, because a lot of people talk about especially how to keep your chat flowing and how to not have a dead chat. And it's, whoa, did I cut out for a second?
Yeah.
It's literally just down to asking questions.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it is. It's just ask questions of your people. And that can be something that I really enjoy, which I like to ask questions with depth, like questions that generate intimacy, because I want the Yam Fam to feel close, and I want them to feel like they really know me and they know who I am, and they also know each other. And I also, sometimes we talk about silly things too, like tacos and our favorite TV shows from the 90s. But at the same time, we've also got those like really deep, intimate questions that really generate that level of like trust, which is really important.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if you're just looking for feedback, like it's difficult for people to get feedback when I tell them like, hey, ask questions during your stream, because what happens is you'll ask your community, hey guys, are you liking this thing that we're doing right now, or are you liking whatever the thing is that you're asking about? And then they'll say, we just enjoy anything that you do, whatever you do we'll watch. And it's amazing. It's amazing to have that kind of love from people, but not everybody that watches you is going to feel that way.
Yep.
Some people are absolutely just going to watch you for the game, and that's the reality of the situation. But then also, you are the captain of the ship. Like, you are the one that is going to determine your success. And if you are relying on like the other people, their interpretations, then you're building a stream that is kind of like based on one or two people in the community, and not necessarily the stream that's based on you as the captain of the ship, right? So you can absolutely like ask questions, but I do think at the same time you need to take every answer with a grain of salt, because they won't necessarily be the best solutions for you.
Yep.
But also just like going back to getting constructive feedback, because that is so difficult during a stream. You have to think that the people that are like, we'll just watch you anyways, they will sometimes, but also that's not conducive to growth all of the time. So just because you've got, 15 or 20 people that are like, it doesn't matter, just have fun, it doesn't mean that you're going to get more people in if you're just making those 15 or 20 really happy.
Right.
So you kind of have to balance that idea of like, how do I make these people happy, but also make this a welcoming and inclusive space for new people? Like, how do I cause that growth to happen in a way that makes the people that are here still happy as well, which is a really difficult thing to nail. So I think for me, a big part has been, because I have so many different styles of content, it gives me a lot of room to experiment, and it gives me a lot of room to get more feedback. People are like way more interested in giving you feedback in your YouTube comment section than whenever you're live.
Yep.
They will do it way more. So I think a big part too that is useful for me is we have like a content suggestions section in Discord, so people can go in there and just like suggest specific things that they want to see. I'm always looking for new ideas, and especially for like YouTube videos and people to interview for the podcast. So whenever somebody comes in and they say like, hey, so much for the YouTube videos, or I just found you through the podcast, thanks so much, I'll generally say something like, oh, I'm so glad it was helpful for you. If you want me to interview anyone specifically, or if you want me to cover a topic more in depth, just DM me on Twitter or on Discord and let me know. I'd love to make a video or a podcast episode for you. And so just like leaving that line of communication open, because sometimes if people DM you, it kind of takes the stress away of them, it takes that pressure away of them having to say it publicly.
Or you having to remember to do it.
Yeah, that's, oh my gosh, that too. Yeah. What I'll do during the streams too is like, if we're talking and we ever come up with a really creative idea, I'll just say, hey, somebody DM me that, like whoever.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's the mods. I'll say like, hey, Rook or Dave, can you DM me and remind me to do this thing? And that's really helpful. Or if somebody's like, hey, have me on your, or I want to have you on my show, I'm like, yeah, cool. Just DM me and remind me and we could talk about it. Cause there's no freaking way I'm going to remember all of the things and all of the conversations that happen during the stream after the stream. No way.
I actually have a command in chat where if you type in !save, mods can post anything and then it saves it to a spreadsheet that I have in my favorites. So like if anything is ever happening in chat, you just ! I'm like, mods, can you save that idea that somebody just posted in chat? And that's half the battle.
Yeah, it really is. It's super helpful. I think like the best ideas don't really come from, hey guys, do you have any feedback? Or hey, what should we do for this? But they actually come through like legitimate, genuine conversation and just talking to your people, and you come up with something and then you're like, oh cool, all right, let's do that for for our 500 subscribers goal, or for whatever.
Yep. And there my mods just eloquently displaying exactly what's possible.
Save butt stuff.
Chat's been asking for a foot cam forever, and I refuse to give it to him.
You should do it one day, but just surprise them.
It's like, hey,
and just surprise them, and it comes up in your foot face.
My one addendum to my point is, for me, I know you, because you don't play games, all of your content is very strategic and planned out, and I know that's how you do things. For me, my subs actually choose what games I play because I have no preference. So I'm always asking like, hey, what do you guys want me to play? Because if the ship steers left or right, I don't care. Like, I'll be happy either way. If the chat can be happy, because they all vote on what they want to see played. So it's like, if you are able to objectively look at your games that way, if you're able to have fun no matter what game you're playing, and you can make it entertaining and bring value to people,
so good.
then then that mindset is okay. Then you can do whatever your chat tells you. But if you're specific and you can really only put on a good show when you're playing a certain thing, then you might want to steer to just playing those certain things.
Yeah, that's so important, because a lot of people play like Dark Souls and they just hate it, right? They just hate it and they have a miserable time. But because someone subscribed or because somebody tipped and got to choose the game, then they feel like obligated to do the thing. And then it actually turns the stream like into a negative experience for people, which you don't want to do,
Right.
having a negative, you don't want that negative atmosphere. So it's really important if you're able to flip that switch. That's actually really freaking awesome. That's really, I have not mastered that skill at all.
No,
so
it's
10 out of 10.
So yeah, basically what we do is we have sub goals that are in integers of, when they started it was 5, because I was, that's how rare, subs were coming in. But now it's in 20s, so anytime we hit a sub goal, all of the subs vote. So a straw poll goes up that only subs can see, and they vote what game they want to be played next, and then I play that game, and then the next time the sub goal gets hit, we play that, and we just keep going through. And it's not the most beneficial when it comes to trying to strategically play your games on stream for growth. But for me, being the biggest, baddest streamer there is with large numbers isn't my concern. It's just about enjoying the time with the community and playing video games. And yeah, so far it's been my preferred way to stream. I sometimes throw what games I want in there, but most of the time it's up to the subs. And we've had some really bad games and we've had some really, really good games. But my rule is, if I play a game 3 times and I still hate it, we axe it and we move on to the next one. So that way it's not just like, oh, you've been playing a game you hate for the past 3 weeks. This is really, interesting to watch. But whenever I get too annoyed, I let my clown take over, and he kind of makes the show a little bit better.
That's awesome. That's actually a really cool way to run it. I like that a lot.
Have you ever been about asking, have you ever gone to some of your closest friends and say, give me your absolute honest feedback about my channel?
No, I haven't actually. I mean, maybe, yeah. I think back in the day, yeah. Not recently, not with this new iteration. I've been so just go and make that I haven't really done that. But I think back in the day, I definitely did, and I think still at that point too. They're not really. It's difficult to get legit good constructive criticism whenever you specifically ask. I think it comes up much better through genuine conversation, authentic, just bouncing ideas with somebody that can return some as well. So you come up with something creative and they kind of add on to it, and then it just becomes this idea of oh my gosh, why hadn't I thought of that?
Yeah.
I generally I see that as the best. That's worked out better for me. But I think, some people, they might have some really, really good resources in their lives that they need to just go and ask those people. And I would never say, hey, don't use the resources that are available to you, because you absolutely should be.
Yep, absolutely. Some of the things I'm just gonna be throwing out. So if there's any streamers in chat who want to use these ideas, I actually have a feedback form Google Doc, and it's a form that pops up in chat every hour or so, and I just ask hey, if there's anybody who's willing to fill out a form, you can tell me that you like me, you can tell me that you don't like me, and you can also offer things that you think could make the show better, or just give your opinion, and it's completely anonymous. And I've probably had, I would say, anywhere from 30 to 35 submissions over the past 8 or 9 months. And I have gotten some really, really good things. I'm more inclined to think that people will tell you how they feel if they don't have to tell you their name. They're more willing to give some constructive criticism because they don't want to hurt your feelings, but they also want to help. They also want to offer some help. So what I always tell people is, if you're not getting feedback from your community, consider throwing up a Google form and just asking some simple questions like, what do you think I do well? So that when people respond, your strengths and that you can double down on your strengths. And when people say, what are you bad at? Raging and throwing crap when you get really mad. It's okay, well, maybe that's something I can work on. Because when you're streaming and you're in the moment and you throw a keyboard, everyone's like, oh well, chill, or they're spamming or trying to console you in the form of emotes. It's not really received that well. But if you have somebody in your community that actually takes the time to fill out something to let you know how they feel, I feel like that feedback is way more better received. So I would encourage anybody to go and do that.
Yeah, that's awesome. I like that idea a lot. I really agree. Like if their name isn't attached to it, they're gonna be way more comfortable with sharing, because that's the main reason that you get, oh, we'll watch you no matter what. That's the main reason that you get that feedback, is because they want to love you and support you. Like they don't want you to feel bad for the way that you are or for what you present on your stream, especially during a stream. Who wants that?
Yep.
So most of your good community members, like they're not gonna rag on you during the stream, even if you're like, no guys, legit, give it to me.
Exactly. Please God.
Please God. I've had some people that are like, I can't get feedback from them, and I can't get it, and they're like, I don't know, please guys. Please, I'm being serious. They're like, I'm serious, give me feedback. And they still won't do it.
Just like every caster has to work on their skills in order to become the best caster they can. I think you all, as a streamer, you have a little bit of a responsibility to guide your chat in ways like that, to guide your community, to make them okay with telling you that you've done something wrong or that they didn't like when you did something. Because just because you voice a concern that you don't like what somebody did or you don't like what a caster did, it doesn't mean they're going to hate you. And it doesn't mean they're necessarily going to change their ways just because you don't like what that person did, but it's good to at least be aware of the things that you might be doing wrong, because you might not even know. Just like people don't know that saying, hey, I'm taking off, I'm going to stream, see you guys later, some people just don't know that that's not a thing to do. So it's your job to educate as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
The next big point that I want to move on to was people changing. And this is something that I have seen in myself in the last year, and it's something I want to ask you about. What are some things that you used to do on your channel that you thought were right at the time and no longer do?
Oh my God, this is so good. Oh, I watched some of my past broadcasts recently, and they are just like horrifying. They were so bad. It was terrifying. It's really, really bad. So some of the things that I used to do that I don't do anymore is I never used to look at the camera. So I never had that deep, like, actual sense of connecting with people, and that didn't come across on camera at all. I was not animated. I wasn't entertained to watch. My most like recent iteration, aside from this one, was like a year and a half ago or so. I ended up trying to go down the creative streaming side, and it did not work for me. Not because, the talent thing, not because I didn't have like cool projects I could have done or anything like that, but because I just wasn't interesting to watch at all. And aside from that, like, relational value of people that showed up and were just my friend, I didn't really have anything beyond that. I didn't have any kind of value to give people. I didn't change lives at all. So that was something that I used to do. Also, I've become a much more positive person. I've become a lot happier. I've become a lot more myself and a lot more just unashamedly myself. I think that that's really important. I like to explain this as like the person that you are whenever the most like intimate relationship that you have. For a lot of people, that's like their significant other. So think about who you are whenever you're with that person. Mm-hmm. You're probably really freaking weird. You're probably like making weird faces and like jumping all around, like doing weird voices. Like, we're all weirdos.
You sound core, like you know me.
We're all freaking weirdos.
Yeah.
So like, bring that person to your stream. Bring that level of intimacy to your cast and that level of comfortability, because once you're comfortable at that level, like, people are going to feel that and they're going to feel comfortable around you. So for me, I wasn't that person at all in the past. I wasn't good at keeping up conversation. My chat died all the time. I wasn't good at entertaining. I wasn't good at connecting. I didn't create emotional connections with people. I wasn't vulnerable. I wasn't honest. I wasn't authentic. I always, like, especially back in the day when I first started, I tried to kind of be somebody else instead of just being my freaking self. I took a lot of inspiration and emulated other streamers that I looked up to, not realizing that like, hey, I'm not freaking them. So those things aren't going to work for me.
Yep.
And obviously they're not going to. Like, that's just not how this works. You have to, like, people can pick up on the energy that's behind what you're doing. Okay. If the energy that the energy that's behind what you're doing, if it's lacking because you're doing something because somebody else did it and you're just like completely stealing that idea and throwing it onto your content, well, they had energy behind that thing, and that's why they're being successful with it. And that energy was authentic and real to them, and that's why that thing that they're using during their stream is working. And if you don't have that same level of energy, which you probably won't because you didn't come up with the idea, like, the universe rewards creativity and it rewards your innovation. It absolutely will. So coming up with ideas that are genuine to you, it takes more effort and it takes more work than just like watching somebody else and legit copying everything that they're doing.
Yep.
But being yourself during your cast is so important because of the amount of authenticity that is behind that. And being authentic, we all know, is like our freaking bread and butter as content creators, because it generates trust. It makes people realize like, oh, this person is really who they are and they're not freaking faking it. So I know that any products they recommend me, they actually care about. Any other streamers they tell me to watch, I'll actually care about. Literally anything this person says, I'm going to trust because this person is authentic and because they're telling me the truth. So it's massive. I think like authenticity is so huge. Of course, I think we probably all know that. But yeah, now it's completely different. Now I am making eye contact with the camera as much as I can, because I know that creates a deeper presence for you on camera. Like if you're staring at somebody and talking to them, it absolutely creates a deeper sense of connection.
Yep.
I am, good at keeping up with chat and keeping chat flowing. There have been every single stream I have times where I'm like, I can't keep up with. So it's like 80 of you are talking at once. I don't know. I can't keep up. I love you, but if you really want me to see something, just repost it or like throw a biddy at me or something. So I make sure that I get to it because I just can't. And now I'm definitely more entertaining because I've become more animated through actually doing YouTube videos. YouTube taught me this like very, very well, is how to have more of a charisma on camera.
Yeah.
A big part of it is motion, and it's not in just sitting there and playing a video game and staring at your screen, but instead it's like pulling yourself out of that experience and into the performance aspect, which is having that on-screen charisma and connecting emotionally and speaking with people in a way that makes them feel like you're actually freaking there with them, or in a way that like encourages them or motivates them or changes some kind of thing in their life. Like back in the day, I thought that streaming was just all about how cool I was, how attractive I was, how I talked. If I could be funny, if I could be more witty, then people would come and watch me. But streaming is absolutely not about who you are as a person, right? Like part of it, yes, is you being funny and making jokes and being that authentic, engaging individual. Absolutely. But that is a small portion of it. Like that's the relational value that people are getting from you. That takes time to develop. And that's why a lot of streamers, it takes them like years on years on years on years to build up a community and reach partnership and start pursuing these bigger goals, is because they're relying strictly on the relational value side of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But there's also like other values, there's educational values. So are you teaching people something? There's inspirational and motivational value. So are you inspiring people or motivating them to get up and freaking do something with their life? Or there's also that entertainment value of just being funny, which a lot of people try to be just this entertainer that plays video games and is funny, but we're not all that funny. So finding a way to integrate education and motivation into your content is really, really important as well. But once I learned like what value actually is, which is those four things, and I started implementing it, it's completely different now that I'm planning things out and I'm trying to be more productive and more valuable, and I'm trying to people, because at the end of the day, people watch your stream because they're getting something out of it.
Yep.
Whatever that thing is.
Yep. Yeah, it's value is what people are looking for. Whether they realize they're looking for value or not, that's what people are looking for.
Oh, yeah.
So one point that I actually ended up flip-flopping, first of all, my old self, one of my stories is that I played this video on my 5-year Twitch anniversary. I played this video from when I first started streaming, and when chat was too slow or when chat was dead, I would say, guys, chat's broken, so you won't be able to submit any chat. I won't be able to see it. And then like 20 minutes later, I would say, okay, guys, chat's working. Feel free to talk as much as you like. And so that's why we have that chat is broke emote now. I used to do this thing where I would like, on one of my past broadcasts, I was like working on something, just staring down at this little thing I was painting. And I remember I think the affiliate program had just come or something, and I got a sub, or I got a couple subs or a host or whatever it was. Something happened, and I was like, thanks guys, thanks so much. If you guys can like tell your friends, I really appreciate it, because I'm definitely going to be investing like more engagement in you. And it was just like the worst thing. I was trying to sell it and doing a freaking horrible job, and it seemed really awkward and weird. Oh, I watched that recently and I was like, oh God, no. Oh God, girl, why? One thing that I flip-flopped that we actually talked about on Twitter was follower alerts. And actually just recently, for when we first had that discussion on Twitter, I gave it a lot of thought, and I severely reduced my follower alert sound, and I made it quieter so that it wasn't so attention grabbing and so intrusive. But I was so dead set on the fact that how can people not want to be thanked when followed? Like, I just it did not resonate in my brain. And it wasn't until about 2 weeks ago that I finally turned off the audible notification. There's still something on screen, and my Philips Hue bulbs blink when followers come in. And then just every once in a while, I just want to say thank you to all the followers that came in. I appreciate you guys sticking around. And that was something that took me a while to grasp. And I think that point I was very stubborn about.
Yeah.
And we're all stubborn about something. But so again, I just want to say thank you for kind of opening up my eyes to that. It is such a weird concept to me, because when you're small, and I'm talking small, like under 100 followers small, those follower notifications break hours of silence. And it was hard to get out of that small streamer, mindset.
Yeah, it's really difficult. And that's why, like, a lot of people have kind of come to the realization that they shouldn't use hashtag support small streamers on Twitter, but they still don't realize that doing things that a small streamer would do. And it's crazy because there's so many things that are holding people back from actually growing. And they're doing them because they have a scarcity mindset where they're like, well, the follows don't come in very often, so I really want to celebrate them when they do. But it's, if you sit back and you think the follows are going to come, okay, then I'm able to kind of relinquish that idea of like I have to fully celebrate every single one, because I don't know which one's going to be the last, or I don't know when I'm going to be able to talk to somebody again. But yeah, it's actually it's really weird. It was weird to me at first too, to be like, people don't want to be thanked for follows. Why would you? What? But for everybody who doesn't know, there was this like massive Twitter thread that went around a couple of months ago, and it was about how some people didn't want to be thanked for follows and some people did. And it was actually a poll. 60% of people voted that they didn't want to be thanked for follows. And a lot of people in the comments, there were hundreds and hundreds of comments. The thing had like massive retweets because it was just so mind blowing. There were a lot of people in the comments that said, I actually won't follow if somebody makes a big deal out of follows, because I'm a lurker and I'm kind of bashful and I don't want to be pulled out of that situation. I just want to lurk and not be given all this attention. And some people feel like this about raids too. Like sometimes when a streamer raids another community, I won't raid people who have like crazy massive raid alerts, or I won't I don't want to be the focus of the raid. I want them to just have fun and to love the community that I brought to them, but I don't care about like the shout outs or attention or anything like that. So it's, to me, I totally get that side of it. I get the raid side, but the follow side was kind of weird. I was like, why? I've literally been brought up this entire time, years of streaming, to say like, thank you for following so and so. But it makes sense if you think about how many lurkers are actually there on Twitch. There's so freaking many. So let's build streams that are inclusive to lurkers as well as to people who want to chat.
Yep.
And I think that having that, you know, no sound alert, but still having something pop up on screen gives you the opportunity to say, like, from time to time, hey guys, I don't actually call out follows and respect of lurkers, but if you want to chat, there's the chat and we can talk. And thank you. I see all of you who have followed and I appreciate you.
Yep.
So it's respectful to lurkers, but it also kind of balances letting people be thanked and letting them feel like a part of the club.
Right. So you're saying, did you say you don't raid people who have large reactions to raids and hosts?
Oh, I don't care.
Okay.
I don't care. Some people don't. I think it's really freaking sweet. Oh my God, I love raiding so much. It's my favorite thing. I do not raid people. Like, I have nothing against streamers that are already established. I would absolutely raid them. Like, they need help too.
Yep.
There's some days, are harder than others. Your stream just didn't take off, and that happens for all of us. And everyone's looking to grow. I don't think people usually get too complacent. I don't think maybe they get complacent in their actions, but they're not complacent. Like, they always want to get more viewers, right? Everybody does. And I think like that's great. And I definitely support those people as well. But I love rating small streamers, like people with 15 or less viewers, because whenever I do it, I've had so many reactions of people like freaking crying and freaking out because they get like all of a sudden 80 people in their channel and they're like, what is going on? Oh my gosh, I've never had double digits before. And they'll cry. And I actually have a folder on my desktop that's just videos saved of
I've
people
heard
that we've rated.
And also Witcher 3.
Oh yeah, well, yes, that too, of course. But I'm waiting for the day when I have enough videos to make a little compilation video of all the people that we broke in, because we're serious business. When we raid people, we don't just like raid them and then we leave. We like spam the crap out of them. We gift sub them. We all host them. We all follow them. Their alerts are just broken for days.
I've seen
amazing.
It. Yeah,
I love it.
It's that's a weird thought for me. It's for people that don't want to raid other people who have reactions. I mean, you have the same people that are like, I hate when people get so excited when they get $1,000 donation. It's like, well,
yeah, but you have to think about like the viewing experience sometimes, right? Like, if somebody's tipping you $1,000, they probably expect some kind of reaction. Like, not everybody does. Some people just they're weirded out by that, or like they'll tip and then they'll go away and they don't even care about the reaction at all. They just love what you said or what you did. But there are some people that it's good to have some kind of reaction. And I think it's also really fun to just celebrate those massive milestones. I think it's important to do that. You don't want to overdo it to the point where it's inauthentic, but it's okay to celebrate and to be happy.
Yep.
It's finding a balance for sure.
Absolutely.
And I think part of it too is just figuring out like, who are you? Who do you want to keep as a streamer?
I have a second point to that, but I saw somebody has a question, and I'll save my other response for that. I was going to ask about. I'll let you pick. Do you want to talk about the difference? So, like, I know both of us were super excited about talking the difference between hosting and rating, like last week, and what streamers prefer to do. Would you rather talk about that, or would you rather talk about streamers playing with viewers?
Oh my gosh, they're both so good. We could do both. Let's do the first one, and then if we have time.
I never have a time limit on my podcast, but not everybody is able to talk for 2 to 3 hours. I know you talk for 8 hours straight. That's what you do on your channel. But people who aren't used to podcasting, after an hour, they're like, somebody give me some Gatorade. Oh, Jesus. So as long as you're good to go a little bit overtime, then we can touch on both.
Yeah, I'm solid. As
Okay.
long as I get to have a glass of wine tonight, I'm good. Yeah. Shout out to Focal Zone. 'Cause, you know, if you haven't gotten these already, they're really great. If you talk a lot, if you sing a lot, if you product placement, I'm just kidding. And not hashtag not sponsored,
Hashtag
not an ad. No, not even that.
All right, so let's touch on the hosting and rating thing first, because this is something where half of streamers that come into my channel host and the other half raid. And I know everybody knows about raiding because I've seen them get raided by other people. And so I know that some people prefer to do one and some people prefer to do other. What do you prefer to do? And why do you think people don't prefer to raid?
This is so good. Why did people not raid? I think a lot of people feel bad because, and maybe it kind of embarrasses them to, the number comes up and it's lower, and they feel like, you know, they probably feel a little embarrassed by that, but it shouldn't be embarrassing. I think even if 0 people, like, holy crap, you want us to be on your video on your freaking webpage? Like, your twitch.tv/your name here is a freaking free website. That's crazy that you want us to be the premier, like, video there. That's amazing that you believe in somebody that much. Okay.
Right.
But I think some people don't raid for that reason. And then also some people don't raid because they just don't really care. Like, they don't really care. They don't really think about the growth of others. And it's not something that is really, you know, it's not something that's really tied to them. Or maybe they kind of have that scarcity mindset where they're like, I don't have to take my viewers.
Well, let me
potentially
let me rephrase. I'm like, when they're choosing to host or raid, not whether to host or not.
Well, I was going to get into that
Okay.
too. So I think that's why some people just don't do anything. Like, don't host, don't raid, nothing. They just end the stream and that's it. Then getting into like hosting versus raiding. So we did have a fantastic conversation about that during the stream. It was freaking amazing. So raiding is amazing. I personally prefer that because it's really fun to just send everyone over there and like break people, and you're legit in their stream. So like you see their profile and it's their home and it just feels more personal. It feels like you're really combining the two communities versus hosting, which is just like their video takes over on your stream, right? But technically, if we want to be like very serious business with this and the numbers or something that really worried about, if you're closer to achieving, like if you're close to hitting partnership or to hitting affiliate, it might be better for you to host, because what's happening here is whenever you host, it's still technically on your channel. Their video just replaces your video. So what you do is you host them and then you come back the next day and you've still got all of your lurkers from the previous day. But if you raid, you're actually sending those people over to your channel, regardless if they opt out or if they don't. Because if they actively opt out of the raid, then they're just going to go somewhere else anyways, and they're not going to be lurkers on your channel. Even if they join the raid, all of those viewers are going over to the other stream. And whenever you start up your stream the next day, like, who knows where they freaking are, right? So ideally, like, if you're really close to hitting a goal, it might be best to host. But it's more fun and more personal to raid, honestly. Like, why would you? I think it's better to raid in the long run. I don't know if, honestly, thinking that, I don't think that the small like bump in viewership that you're going to get from hosting people over raiding them, I don't know that it's actually worth not having that like personal touch of a raid. And also, I don't think that it's going to really impact your numbers that much. Right. You know,
what's weird, here's the other thing I thought about too. When you host somebody, everybody that is in your chat is still in your chat, but the video feed is posted on your channel.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Are raid numbers always lower because bots can't transfer channels and it's only sending the people who are physically able to be moved?
Yeah, it's also that people will opt out. And also, if your numbers, like some of your numbers have come from, you know, raids and hosts from other people, then those don't transfer over either during a raid. And so all those things together means that raid numbers are generally way lower than a host number. Host numbers are going to be more, for sure.
Which I wonder if that's why people host. I don't see, other than what you said about the numbers, with like when you're trying to go for partnership and wanting to retain numbers. I don't understand why other people host instead of raid. And I see it a lot. And I don't know if it's because they just want to see the higher number when they host somebody else, because they think that the streamer that they're hosting will be happier if that number is higher rather than lower.
That could be it. I think honestly I don't think that there's like a mass reason that a lot of people to host over rating. I think that it's a lot of different things probably. Some people may not know about rating, because hosting has been around for a long time. Rating is still kind of new, and they may not know, the difference between hosting and rating. They might not know that, hosting just takes over the video, whereas rating, people actually go to the channel. Maybe it is the numbers. Maybe it could be freaking any reason. Who knows?
Right. That's very interesting topic, because I wasn't sure the mindset behind people who are choosing. And like somebody said in chat, there's also a chance that people don't even know what rating is or know that it exists, because even for the first couple months I would raid somebody and we would spam chat, but the person didn't even know that they had to set up a separate alert for raids after they were released, and they're like, wait, why didn't my thing go off? And so not everybody is following along with the features that Twitch releases in a timely fashion.
Yeah, absolutely.
Playing with viewers. So I know you don't play games, and so this isn't really I won't not say a problem. I think calling it a problem is a negative way to look at it. It's not something that you have to consider. And I think because you have a show that is centered around being extremely interactive with your chat, especially with your channel review shows, it's constant back and forth. So I feel like people in your chat definitely get a bigger sense of interaction with the streamer, because all you do is interact with chat. Your attention is, at least as a guess, is 20% on what's in front of you and 80% of what is going on in chat, because it's just, you have 5 conversations going at one time back and forth. So
yeah.
What's your stance now? I know you can't really talk from personal experience, but as far as other people who play with viewers or do sub only games and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so at some point I'm definitely going to put like gaming back into the content rotation. I'm just not sure. I don't know if I want to try that on Twitter or if I want to do that here, or like, I have no idea. So at some point this will be something that I have to worry about again. But and it's something that I did in the past as well, like playing with viewers. Playing with viewers can definitely take over your stream. And I think that some people, they're looking for a stream where they can just play with the streamer. And so you're definitely going to appeal with those kind of people. However, you have to think about the overall health of your stream as well. So I don't know that like playing with viewers all the time is really the best idea. It's probably better to kind of stick with something like having a community day. So generally what I suggest people do is that you go with the 80-20 rule, because in most of life, this rule is applicable and super helpful. And it's also known as the Pareto principle. And it means that 80% of your results are going to come from 20% of your efforts. So basically what you're trying to do here is like 80% of your streams should be more growth-based streams. And then 20% of your streams should be more community-based streams. So that way you're still balancing, like you're getting people in, but the people that are coming into your space are also getting like super high quality time with you because you're doing community streams as well. Now, this number looks different. It could be 80-20. I think that's super helpful for a lot of people to gauge like, how many streams should I be focused on streaming games just by myself that I know are actually going to grow me versus games with my community or movie night or whatever that looks like. But also at the same time, there are people like yourself who do very well. You're playing games that subscribers want, and you've got that level, they've got that level of control over the content. And so I think you have to figure out like what's actually going to be best for you. Because some people work very well in the way that you do, where you're letting people choose and you're having fun no matter what, because you have that ability, but some people don't. So you have to find that balance of what feels comfortable for you more than anything else. That's kind of like the number one piece of advice in streaming in general is like figure out just trial and error until you find the balance that is what right for you.
Yep.
I know for me, whenever I was in Discord with somebody else, and still to this day, like whenever I'm in Discord with someone else live during the stream, the viewership is lower every single time. And it's not during the podcast episodes, but during anything else that I try where I'm just in Discord, the viewership is always lower. So those kind of streams, while I still do them, I have to know like this isn't going to be something that will grow us. I have to realize like this is something that I'm doing to develop those relationships and have the relationships be deeper. And that's great. And you still need to do that. You don't want every stream to be growth based because then people are going to feel kind of ignored.
Yep.
And you don't want them to feel ignored, but it's still good to kind of balance the two in some kind of way.
The way that I have done it for a while, I'm confident in saying that part of my stream is entertaining or is as good as I think it is because I have complete control. I control what comes in, I control what goes out. And me personally, if I have streams where there are other people in voice comms, whether it's a co-op game or if it's a multiplayer game, that control is gone from me. My ability to steer where the show needs to go, my ability to insert comedic clips in here or stuff like that, that goes out the window. And for that reason, I don't have a consistent playing with viewers day where I have viewers in voice comms with me. When we were talking,
yeah, because you don't know what they're gonna say, right?
Exactly. But my only opinion with that is before, when you were talking about if you have a mindset where you put up a wall because of you're afraid of the outcome, is that considered putting up that wall? Like, oh, I don't play with viewers because I'm afraid somebody's going to drop an N-bomb and I'm going to get banned.
Yeah, I think it could be, but I think at the same time, like, I think attaching yourself to an outcome, setting an expectation, right? And that is different than expecting people to behave. So I think that it's different to attach yourself to some idea of, it's good to have the expectation that people should behave themselves. Like, yes, hey, guess what? Don't be racist. If you're getting on my stream and you're playing video games with me, we're doing viewer games. If you're being freaking racist, I'm going to ban you for life. Like, What are you doing?
Right.
But attaching yourself to the idea of like, or the outcome of maybe on this stream, because last stream I had, 70 viewers. This stream I'll probably have 75. Like those kind of outcomes you can't have those kinds of expectations because you don't know what's going to happen.
Right.
And it's the same like going into relationships as well. But I don't think that kind of situation really applies to viewer expectations.
Okay. Because it's one thing I've always been kind of like iffy about. I personally don't do subscriber only games because I don't believe that there should be a paywall to be able to play with me. I don't think there should be any wall. It should be, if you're around and you want to play, you should be able to play. And the way that I kind of fuel that is, what I do is, instead of playing a game where it involves you to add me as a friend, because I feel most of the time when I've added chat as friend lists on Steam or Battle.net or whatever, there's a certain wall of communication that gets broken. And a lot of people tend to cross lines because they think now, because that you're on their friends list, they can contact you at any time. They'll send you PM messages during stream. And so I completely cut that off. And what I do is I do community nights where I rent a private server of a game and I host it, and then anybody can join. It's, whether you're a sub, you're a non-sub, you're a follower, you're a non-follower. And that's how I play with my community, because I've already gone down the road of constantly having to add and delete people from friends lists, and it's
oh my god, it's awful.
It's way too much maintenance, and it's not worth it. It's not worth it to me. So I try to come up with a different way to, because I do want to play with the community, because the way that I met most of my best friends are because of having an open playing field like that. It wasn't on Twitch, but it's like you kind of want to protect yourself but at the same time, you want to appease to the desires of your community.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like you want to, man, if I wish I could have an intimate, like awesome friendship where I'm just DMing every single person that comes through the stream all the time, right? But the reality of the situation is during an 8-hour stream, I've got like 1,000 people that are coming through. Literally, that's the number. I can't keep up with that many relationships. I just can't.
Yep.
And so it's good to have those situations where you've got like, you know, a game night like that where you can just hang out with everybody all at once.
Right.
And just have fun.
Yeah.
And not have to do some weird like add them and remove them later, and it's just too much work.
Yeah.
It's too much freaking work.
It's like, oh, did you add me? Oh, I spelled my name wrong.
Oh, you skipped me. Oh, yeah, no.
Too much.
I don't.
If you're there and you have the server IP, you can get in. And my mindset about all of that too is, I never see this as my community. I see this as our community. So when I think about community days in my head, I go, this isn't a day where viewers can play with me because I'm just Mr. Brad Pitt. I'm so popular and it's a honor for you guys to play with me. No, why don't we open it up so everybody can play with everybody? Everybody can experience all the rest of us. And I think that's much more important than having it just listed to like, especially sub paywall games. Like, I do not believe in that whatsoever.
I mean, that's exactly why I'm a big believer that streaming isn't about you, right? Like, because it's at the end of the day, it's not, you're not building a stream because you're so attractive and you're so funny and whatever. Things are important. It's important to entertain. But at the end of the day, you're building not a stream that's based on yourself. You're building a community of people that all come together.
Yep.
You're the person that's on the camera, but who freaking cares? When you all get together, you're equal. Like, I'm no better than literally every the person that has the stream where we all congregate.
Right. And it's where you guys aren't all coming here because I'm awesome. You're also coming here because everybody that you're hanging out with is equally as awesome too. It's that sense of community.
Because you love each other.
Right.
Because you love each other. Yeah. And also because you're getting impacted from the stream in some way, which is what starts that entire process.
Yep. Absolutely. Do you have any sub-only perks as far as like access to no, I know that you have a sub-only Twitter, right? Which I know you're a big advocate of. Do you have anything else like that?
So I have a sub-only Discord channel. The sub-only Twitter, and then we sub-only like movie and game nights. We haven't done but we do game nights bi-weekly every other Friday, which this coming Friday is going to be a game night. But the thing is, for us, like, we're crazy with the sub gifting. I'm sure your people are too. I saw some or 5 or something already.
They're insane.
So yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Like, we are at 500 subscribers in 2.5 months. And so for us, it's like, if you want to join, I'll just I'll just get you a sub. Why would I not? You know, I can sub gift too to my channel. I don't care.
Right.
So there's no reason that this sub only night shouldn't be open for anyone. And there have been nights too where, like, the thing is, I don't host the sub only game nights. Those actually don't happen on my channel. Also, what I do is I stream on that Friday. I'll stream at noon, and the sub-only game night will start at 8. So I've got an entire stream where I'm like building up viewership. People know that the game night's going to happen. And then whenever that game night starts at 8, the person that hosts it, they go live on their channel, and I drop a bomb of 100 people that are like 100 viewer host or raid or whatever, and then we get started. So they host it, I go out and get like some food, sometimes I'll get some drinks, and then I'll come back and we'll all freaking play all night together.
There you go.
And it's absolutely amazing. But like, I'm using it as a way to grow YamFam streams too, not as a way for like me to grow my own stream or people to hang out with me. It's not like completely off Twitch either. I'm using it as a way to grow the community and to introduce the YamFam to other YamFam members and to their stream. So like, they get to have the party in their house.
Yep. What a great way to do that. I've never thought about doing it that way.
Yeah, it's so fun. I love it.
I didn't switch the fucking overlay. Okay, that's all right.
Oh no.
That's all right. Last but not least, health. What do you do for yourself as far as physical and mental health to stay sane and to keep yourself in check nowadays?
Yeah, I've been really bad lately. Actually. What a time to be asked about your health.
Right.
Yeah, I'm a big proponent of like, meditation and eating healthy and exercise and all of that. And it is really, really important to me. And I always feel like very guilty whenever I get thrown off track, because I do all the time. But lately, because I've been so busy, and this has been like, I haven't gone to the gym in like 3 sucks. I feel gross every single day. I'm like, I've gained like 10 pounds probably. I don't even know anymore. But I am a big proponent of like living a healthy lifestyle. And I do think that it's really important as a streamer. You are kind of in a leadership position. And especially for, you and I who are creating many different styles of content, like taking care of your body and taking care of your health is not only like good for your mindset so that you can keep creating, but also it's just good for you and your longevity. And it's good for you to respect yourself.
Yep.
And I think that respect, like that, causes other people to respect you as well. So when you respect your body by like dressing nice and eating well and exercising, people will see that and they're like, oh, this is a person that takes care of themselves. So that's sexy. But two, also like maybe I should respect them a little bit more.
Yep.
So lately, what am I doing? Not really much of anything. Honestly, I'm not going to the gym right now. I've been very, very busy, and that's not an excuse. Is the thing. It should never come down to like,
it's a choice.
Should I? Yeah, exactly. It should never come down to me like, should I work all day and ignore the gym, or should I just freaking get over it and go to the gym the other 13 hours? But for me, it's always, I'm putting so much pressure on myself right now to like do the podcast and the YouTube and all of these, like I'm starting a couple of businesses and I'm creating like products now. I'm getting into ebooks and courses lately. And that has taken over my life to the point where I'm not going to the gym. And sometimes I'm not eating that healthy. Like it's been a little bit better lately, but I'm not holding myself to the level that I used to be at a couple of years ago, where I was eating like, well, not even a couple of years ago. It's been a little longer than that now, but I was very healthy at one point, like always doing 2-a-days in the gym, 6 freaking days a week. I was freaking vegan. I was like killing it. I was slaying the game. And lately it's just, I've been so married to my work and I've been so like dedicated to that I'm not doing those things for my body, and I'm not respecting myself in that way. So it is absolutely something that I am working on changing. Like I love going to yoga. It's insane the amount of workout that I get at yoga versus going to the gym. Yoga is like going to the gym 3 times.
Yeah, yoga's insane.
3 hours at a time. It's crazy. It's crazy. So I love doing that. I go to that 3 times a week probably, and then just have more vegetables in my life. That's probably the perfect situation. I don't think that, I was very ambitious at one point with those 2-a-days. I don't think I'm going to be the person who's like working out and going to bikini competitions or anything, but I definitely want to respect my body more.
By the way, your mic is cutting out a lot lately. Yeah. I don't know if you've had a problem with that in the past.
Yeah. Yep. I love how chat's like, is Ash cutting out?
Yeah, it just got like really bad. It was like intermittent here and there. What kind of mic do you have?
I have a Blue Yeti.
Oh, okay.
But I'm working on getting an SM7B, so these problems will not be these problems anymore.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Is a yam a vegetable? What is a yam? I don't even know what a yam is.
It's like a sweet potato, but it's actually not a sweet potato.
Interesting. Okay.
So it's kind of like one of the,
I probably had a yam and just not known it.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe.
The last thing that I want to get into is just a link that I want to drop for all you guys in chat. I have this link to something called the Streamer Encyclopedia, and it's pretty much like a one-stop shop for a lot of different things: audio, video, mics, compression, overlays, stuff like that. And it's just a resource that I wanted to throw out to both of our communities. If you guys are ever looking for tips and tricks, it's pretty much just like an encyclopedia is. It doesn't fully explain everything, but I outline different subjects and give you direct links to what you need to figure out. It's something I've just been slowly building over the past like 6 or 7 months. So if any of you guys ever need something like that, it's there for you.
I love those book recommendations. Dale Carnegie, Gary Vaynerchuk, Simon Sinek, like, yes.
That Simon
So
Sinek
good.
book, Find Your Why, is probably...
Start with Why. It's so good.
Yeah, it's probably one of my favorites. Also, my second favorite, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, was probably one of my top favorites.
Yeah, I haven't read that one. Audible keeps recommending me read that one, but I'm like, well, I already don't give a fuck. So what do I?
It's hard because like you as a creator, you want to care about the right things, and that book kind of helped me steer it, because I know that I care about my community, but there's also certain things that you just need to look past and not care about, because if you get hung up on the wrong things, you're gonna get hung up permanently.
Yeah.
Like, chat, you guys know I care about you, right? You're gonna say no, he hates us, blah.
Yeah, they're gonna troll you.
Do you have any points that you wanted to touch on before we finish up with the question and answer?
No, I'm good. Let's do it. Let's do Q&A.
Sweet. All right, first question. Let me make sure that's good. Okay, that's good. This one's from AK. I have 5 followers on Twitch. How do I start growing? Like, is there any tips you'd give for new starters? Twitch.tv/Ashnichrist.
Yeah, hang out with me.
Yeah.
There's a lot to learn. So don't get discouraged and don't try to go too fast in the beginning. It's okay to take your time. This is a marathon, not a sprint. Okay. Also, let me throw a weird thing at you. So a lot of people, when they first start streaming on Twitch, they're like, the growth only happens when I'm live. And so they'll literally be live freaking time, like twice a day, sometimes 6 or 7 days a week, and it is too much.
Yep.
Okay, I'm a big believer now that the best way to grow a stream is actually by streaming less, but spending time in established communities. So you want to spend time in like Knacker's stream. You want to spend time in, you can hang out with us, or you don't even have to hang out in our stream. This is not me like, spend time in established communities. Wink, wink. I'm just doing this to grow my viewership. No. You want to spend time in streams that have 2 things. 1 is a streamer that you really vibe with, and 2 is a community that you really enjoy too. Because what you're looking to do here is give to those people. So you want to like help them as much as you can by hanging out in those streams and just spreading like positivity, supporting the people that are in there, and making friends with those viewers. Because what happens then is that you're going to become a part of the community. And when you become a part of that community and you kind of like become friends with everybody, those people are going to come to your stream.
Yep.
They will.
Yep.
Like literally all of the Yam fam. I've seen people that have like tripled their viewership in a short amount of time because they've hung out on our stream. Because what we do is we support everyone to go and watch each other and follow each other. I have no problem with people like promoting themselves in my stream or saying that like, hey, I've got to leave now. I've got to go get ready for stream. I don't mind that stuff, because for me, it doesn't, take away from my value. It doesn't impact. Oh, I'm cutting out again. It doesn't take away from my value. It doesn't impact me negatively in any way. So I think that it's really important to go and like spend times in streams where you can just make friends. And not every stream you're going to be able to talk about your stream, so don't do that. But just go and make friends. Those people will come to you eventually, and just realize like this is a marathon. It's not a sprint. It's okay to take your time, and it's okay to suck. I actually encourage you to fail in the beginning.
Yep. Suck as much as you can.
Yeah, suck.
Episode 69.
Episode 69.
Next question comes from, I think it's Davex.
Dave.
What would be something you would like Twitch to implement?
Ooh, I'd love to see the co-streaming thing that Mixer has. Like,
where it syncs up everything.
oh my God. Yeah, it is so cool. And you get to see like streams right next to each other, but the streams, you know, like imagine if somebody that was twitch.tv/knackerstv, but I was also live right now, but it made like your video smaller and I appeared right next to you. That would be so freaking cool. Also, the hype sound that Mixer has, like both of those things are so amazing.
I agree. I'm a simple man. I just want Markdown on Twitch Mobile so that everybody's panels look like they should.
Ooh, oh, yeah. Also, the extensions on Twitch Mobile would be really good. Also, petition to get Ashnichrist on Twitch Creator Camp, because what the heck?
Yeah, what? I was so appalled. How did that come about? God,
I don't know.
That's a whole nother stream.
Apparently it's something they've been planning for a while.
Fair enough.
But it's cool.
Fair enough.
It's cool.
Next question from G for Greg. How do you feel about the IRL section being dissolved and becoming more categorized?
I was wondering if we were going to be asked this, because I get asked this literally like 5 times. It's amazing. Yeah. It's amazing because, okay, so Creative kind of developed a community culture. They developed a community culture because they're very similar in what they do. But the IRL section, there's people like juggling. There's people, you know, there's all sorts of stuff going on over there. So there's not really and there's so many streams. There's not really an opportunity for people to develop a community culture specifically in the IRL section. And for IRL streamers to like go in and host other IRL streamers, that doesn't really happen. The IRL streamers usually host their friends because those IRL viewers are like very sticky, and at the same time there's not a community. So I think it's really good. It's really going to be a good thing. However, there is one issue with it, and that issue is that since the IRL section and creative sections are grouped together right now, that the viewership in each of those directories is pretty high, meaning both of those sections are able to appear relatively high in the just overall browse page, like twitch.tv/browse, I think is the actual twitch.tv/directory.
Yep.
So that's the directory of like literally every single, just all the games, the IRL, creative, everything is there. Now that they're breaking everything up, the viewership is going to be less for every single category. And so all of those different categories are going to appear lower down in that directory page. So it's going to be a little bit more difficult for people to get viewership potentially, but the viewership that they do get, those people are looking specifically for like outdoor streams or cooking streams or whatever.
Yep.
But then we've also got tags. So this could like, oh my God, tags could completely change the game.
Yep.
Honestly, because for the longest time, the best idea or the best advice has been don't stream saturated games. Like don't stream Fortnite because you're going to get. Now imagine you're able to put tags on your stream that actually identify what you do, and people can find you regardless of how many streams there are.
Yep.
Like, what?
Yeah.
Maybe the advice changes to stream saturated games, but choose unpopular tags.
Yep. Yeah, because it used to be, it's one category, highest viewers at the top, lowest are at the bottom. Imagine, okay, yeah, these categories getting broken up into tinier ones, it's going to make the group viewership a little bit less, but now viewers have the tools to actually search on a category basis what they want to look for. Hey, I'm looking for Witcher 3, but I want to see first playthroughs. Oh, I want to see Skyrim, but I want to see vanilla. I don't want to see any mods. That could really open some stuff up for you.
Yeah, I think it's got a lot of potential.
Yep.
And the biggest thing is like people have been asking for this for so freaking long, and Twitch is finally following through with like us being able to filter through all of this freaking content and find stuff that we actually give a crap about.
Yep.
And then the other thing was like they're getting rid of communities, right? But what were you gonna say?
I was going to say, I saw Chad talking earlier about why they don't understand why people use tags. And like on Instagram, like some people tag 10 to 15 hashtags a post. If you want to grow past your local city, it is absolutely necessary to use those tags in order to tie in with the algorithms to get exposure. That the people aren't tagging because they think it's fun. They're tagging because they're trying to inspire growth on their platform. And a lot a lot of people come through when you use the right tags at the right time.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just more exposure. It's just putting you in front of more people. Like, why would why would you not want to do that? Granted, for social media, I think like hashtags are becoming less and less common because they're pretty ugly.
Yep.
And social media is all about that aesthetic, but being able to filter content is still really important, which is why you've got search on social.
Yep.
You've got those search sections, but Twitch doesn't have anything like that. I mean, we've got the search thing, but how freaking useless is that? It's pretty useless.
The reason I don't hashtag on anything else other than Instagram, because you can structure your description where you label your hashtags at the bottom so that you don't see them unless you hit that see more button. So the aesthetic is still there, but also the algorithm is still catching the things that you're tagging, which is a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Next question. This one comes from the Ember Strife. What is one encounter, one thing you've done on stream that you kind of regret and have since worked on to be better about?
Oh, that's such a good question, because I have a lot of things that I guess I could say I kind of failed at with streaming. I definitely that past broadcast that I watched where I was just not present at all. I had no charisma at all, no on-screen presence. It just was not there. And I was just like looking down, painting the thing and saying, I'm going to be investing more engagement in you guys. And so thank you. If you could just do me a favor and tell your friends, like that was so bad. That was such a bad, cringy way to try and get more people into a stream. And I think that, but then also there have been things that I've done during streams that they just didn't resonate, and they just weren't authentic, right? There have been times where like I've kind of emulated larger content creators because I saw what they were doing was working, and I started trying to do it and it didn't work for me because I'm not the same person, obviously. Also, I got raided by 4chan once, and that really sucked.
Oh God, that sucks.
Yeah. That was terrible. Yeah, I had like 500 viewers after I'd been streaming like 2 months or something. It was horrible.
Oh man.
Horrible.
Two things stand out. One's a negative, one's a positive. I had a couple people fill out my feedback form that said stop playing battle royale games because all you do is whine and complain and get angry, and it's not a good look for you. So I don't play battle royale games anymore.
That's good.
Yeah, so that one I probably wouldn't have known had it not been for my community. And the second thing that I've never... How do you deal with trolls? Do you have fun with them, or do you completely ignore them?
That's a good question. We've talked about this like a few times. It's so important. So I personally, when I see trolling, I just like my eyes glaze over, and I just kind of skip it in my brain because it doesn't impact me at all. It doesn't negative. I don't get bothered by trolling. I don't care. I've been trolled so much by this point and rated by 4chan, and I'm like, whatever, you can say anything and you're not going to freaking hurt me. I've heard it all before.
Right.
And so I am very much focused on like creating a positive culture and a positive environment. And so for me, the last thing I want to do to disrupt all of the amazing, like inspirational conversations that I'm having to focus on something that's negative. Because I know like as the streamer, the things that I draw attention to really carry weight. And so if I'm drawing attention to the trolling, I'm going to get more trolling. But if I'm drawing attention to and responding to the things that are really positive, I'm going to get more of them. So if I want more negativity, if I feed off of trolls and they make me laugh, I'd probably respond to them more. But for me, it's very, very rare that I find trolling funny. There was a guy that came in the other day and he was like, you look like you would have chicken nipples. And that was the only thing in the longest time. I was like, what the fuck does that mean? What?
Oh my God.
Yeah, so that one was funny. But just because of like our culture, he just got banned immediately anyways. Because usually with trolling, we're like, nah, just ban it, whatever. I don't even care. Just get them out because I'm focusing on the people that are actually positive contributions to the space.
Right. And I think that's the mindset that I like to have most of the time is if I see somebody just drop something that's racist or discriminatory or homophobic, I usually just ignore it and let the mods take care of it. But like every once in a while, I want to respond just because I want to have some fun. And I know that I can interact with him and not give the troll 100% attention, but still just like kind of like entertain it. A couple months ago, I had somebody come in and they were just very angry and just like, ban me, you won't do it. And so I was like, hey, how's your day going? You know, what's new, blah, blah, blah. And he kept just trying to insult me. And so he's like, ban me. And so I took a Sharpie and I wrote his username on my forehead and then continued to stream. God. And then he kept going, and then somebody gifted him a sub at the same time. And then he eventually left, and I had his name on my forehead for a while. But I feel like if you have the ability and the mindset to be able to tackle that stuff to where you can turn it into a positive, and especially if chat is maybe running a little bit slow and you want to do something to just kind of like maybe create a little bit of a buzz, I would say go for it. But if you don't take well to trolls, then I would say just 100% ignore them.
Yeah. It definitely depends on like your comfort and your confidence.
Yep.
Hello. Dang it. Stupid mic.
Your poor mic.
Yeah. So your comfort and your confidence level. Like if trolling impacts your confidence, then don't, just ban them immediately and ignore it. But I did for a while. I played with them and I tried to make it. For me, it was just so much attention that was away from the. I don't really have time to focus on trolls now because chat's just like it's so much.
Your chat moves very, very fast.
Yeah,
it really does. This question comes from AK. On a scale from uncooked to charred, how do you like your toast?
Okay. I actually like it whenever it just starts to turn brown. So just like a little bit of brown, but still kind of soft in the middle.
Okay. It's
really important for me. This is really because my mom eats like burnt toast, nasty, just burn stuff. I don't know how she does it.
Me either.
But I like it whenever it's kind of soft, but it's a little bit of crisp, throw some honey butter on there. Oh, yeah. Stop it.
Stop. Yeah, I'm the same. Slightly browned.
Yeah.
Next question from Dave X as well. I'm unsure if you've already discussed this, and I know you've answered it before, but what do you think about the removal of communities on Twitch? We kind of touched on that, but do you have any additional points?
It's so good. The actual like removal of communities is so good. You have to think about like why Twitch. It was for the reason that they're implementing now. It was for discoverability, not because they were trying to create like a baby version of stream teams, which is what they all turned into.
Right.
So stream teams are their own thing. And while I get the frustration, like, oh, only a partner can create a stream team, they can give you like ownership of their team.
Right.
If you really want a team, if there's a team that like you really want to create and it's a unique idea and you know a partner or you can make friends with a partner, like they can give their team to you. But communities originally was created for ability, and with Twitch saying that like less than 3% of people were using it for that reason, then why do we have it? Like, why do we have it if people aren't finding from it?
Exactly.
With the exception of like there's the LGBTQ community was really good. A lot of people really love that one. There's a few others that are really good, but they're relatively unnecessary now that we've got stream teams and tags.
Exactly, and tags are going to pretty much fill that void.
Yeah.
Next question, also from Dave X. What do you think about raid videos, pre-recorded raid videos?
Oh, they can be good. I've seen some people that have said they don't like them, but I've seen the opposite as well. I think it depends on what kind of experience you want to create for people. For me personally, I don't really. It doesn't really fit with what we're trying to do, I think, because we're very much more personal, kind of, that emotional connection is what we're really focused on, and not necessarily high production value. But I think if you're like a heavily production focused stream and you're very into the like lots of high quality gear and like high quality setup and all of this stuff, then I think that might be something that could work for you. It really just depends on the stream, but not necessary.
I have seen some really good raid videos. I look at being rated the same way as how you design and lay out a website. You have possibly 7 to 15 seconds to capture the audience that was just introduced to you. Do you greet them with you, or do you greet them with a pre-recorded piece?
Yeah, that's a good point.
So I see it as I have anywhere from 7 to 15 seconds to capture the people who are coming in here. If you play a 15 to 20 second video, that is 20 seconds that you have lost to individually interact to the people that have come in. So I see the raids, the reason I see raids as so valuable is because not only was the streamer nice enough to trust you with their community, but the people who participated in that raid were nice enough to copy and paste the raid message from the old streamer and spend 5 to 10 seconds going over to the new place. I don't think that should be rewarded with a pre-recorded video. I think you should take the time to go in a chat, look who said hello. Personally, I mean, obviously, if you have hundreds of thousands of people coming in a raid, that's not a feasible response. But my personal opinion is I'm going to greet you with me, which involves a lot of screaming, a lot of camera changes, a lot of lights. It's my personality in 15 seconds, and that might scare some people away because that's a lot when it first happens. But instead of giving somebody a facade and then them finding out 2 weeks later that they don't actually like what they followed and then leaving, I'd rather just let you know who I am right from the get-go, and you either like it and you stay, or you don't and you leave.
Well, that's 100% like what you should be doing as a streamer. Like, people need to be able to figure out through your profile actually, and through your stream immediately within like 30 seconds what you're about.
Yep.
Right. And if you're not consistently setting the atmosphere to that level, then people have to like waste their time, like, and it takes them like 5 minutes to figure out what your stream is about, what you freaking do here. Then they're not going to want to stick around. People aren't going to give you that much time. They're going to give you like a bit of time. They're going to try to see if they like your vibe, and then they're going to freaking leave. So you have to give them, and you have to be thinking about it at this level of like, how do I consistently set the tone and set the atmosphere during my stream to help people make a fast decision as quickly as they possibly can? I want people to come into my stream and in 1 second be able to decide, yes, the stream is for me. No, the stream is not for me. And if it's not for them, that's totally fine. There are plenty of other streamers out there, and I have no ill will towards them in the slightest for them wanting to go somewhere that's more fitted for them.
Yep.
But if it is for them, then I want them to know that really freaking quickly. I want it to be really obvious that this is a space that caters to the things that they enjoy as well.
Yep.
I think that's really powerful.
I do too. And when I'm thinking about how I want my raid response to be, when I think about a raid video, it's usually a very high production. It's like a compilation of clips, maybe a couple like audio lists, video clips, and then once the video plays, the person says, you know, who they are. I personally like going into some place and going, holy crap, thank you for the raid, everybody, welcome in, this is my name, this is who I like, this is what I do, this is the game that I'm playing. Like, especially if you're in like a high octane moment, like, guys, thank you for joining us. I just beat one of the main bosses in Witcher 3, and we're just getting into one of the cutscenes. And as soon as you give, if you just give people a video, people see a video and then they go, oh, that was cool. And or you can give them a piece of what you're doing, and that's like a physical thing that somebody can either latch onto or let go of. If you say, oh, I'm in a pivotal point of the Witcher 3 story, some of those people might go, oh man, I love Witcher 3. I need to see what party's at. And I think you might be removing an opportunity to connect with people that are brand new in that very short amount of time that you have to capture.
Yeah, I agree.
Second and last question, also from Dave. What do you think about community sub-gifting and the fact that it allows bots and ban chatters to be gifted?
Oh my gosh. Dave has a lot of feelings about it. So I love community sub-gifting, but having like bots, I don't think Twitch can actually determine whether or not an account is a bot. I think that they don't really have, I mean, they probably could, but actually, you know what? No, they can, because they do that for. Yeah, because they do that for people that are using bots anyways, right?
Yep.
With just a bunch of fake viewers. So they can tell in some way. So, okay. Well, then if they have that knowledge, then should bots be able to get subs? I think yes, but I don't think they should be prioritized over people that are, legitimate followers, have active accounts. I think that more than anything else, that the algorithm for community sub gifting should absolutely gift to the people that are consistently like in your channel, showing up all the time, that have followed you, that they're more active on Twitch. Like, you want those people to be gifted first, and as long as those people are taking priority, at some point you're gonna like reach the amount of people like, oh, we've got 5,000 subs, and literally every person who is following us and every person who's consistently in the stream or viewing the stream right now has been gifted a sub. Then it's like, okay, well, bots, that makes sense.
Right.
That's fine in that situation. Or banned accounts in that situation. Fine, whatever. But I don't think that they should be prioritized over the people that are actually active, real accounts. However, community sub gifting is like freaking amazing. Yep. It's awesome. Yes, give it to me more, please, Twitch. Let's go.
I agree. I think that was an awesome step. It's obvious that the reason I know some people are like, well, why does it give it to people randomly? Like, why doesn't it give it to people who are in the channel? Well, in smaller channels, not everybody who's streaming has 10 people in their chat. And so Twitch isn't going to release a new feature where they cap themselves at how much money they can make. They want to make the maximum amount of money that somebody is willing to give. If somebody is willing to give $100 for 50 subs, they don't want to say, oh, you can't give that. You can't do that because there's only 10 people. They just want you to give it to whoever has been in your channel ever. So
yeah, they do not care.
I definitely think it could use some tweaking. Right. So we were talking about this on my podcast last week. I would prefer it to be, if somebody gifts 10 subs, let them choose however many people they want to give them to first. Like, let's say, okay, I'm giving out 10. I want these 3 people that are in chat, and because there's only 3 people in chat, then Twitch, you can choose the rest randomly, doesn't matter. But having some sort of like being able to choose a couple and then letting Twitch choose the rest, I think that would be beneficial.
Yeah, I think that would be good. Like giving people control over that. Did I just cut it? I just cut it
a little bit.
That's fine. This is fine.
Last question. This one was from Mass Cruz. Do you think knackers will ever do anything worth a $1,000 tip? And I replied in chat, no. Because that is way too much. Way too much. Well,
you're doing it right now. You'll do it. It'll happen
one of these days. I first need to get the approval. He's like one of my biggest supporters, but is also like the biggest shit in my facers. He just loves to poop on me, so I love him for it. So I got to get his approval first, and then we can talk about it. That is our final question. Was there anything else that you wanted to touch on before we wrap this up?
Pancakes or waffles, chat? Also knackers, pancakes or waffles?
Waffles all day, especially chicken and waffles.
Yeah! Oh my god, chicken. Oh, good.
I have one final question for you, which everybody usually gets asked, but I forgot today. Is a hot dog a sandwich?
Oh my god. No, it's a hot dog. It's a completely different category.
Okay. I disagree, but okay.
I don't know. How do you classify a sandwich?
Exactly.
What is it?
Because it's one bread connected at the hinge. It's 2 different slices of bread. It's a ciabatta. It's a loaf. What is a sandwich? Nobody knows. Also, it's a Pop-Tart ravioli.
Oh my god. It's ravioli.
It is. It is literally ravioli. Blew your minds.
Oh my god, my life.
All right. Well, before we get up out of here, please take one more opportunity to say who you are, where people can find you online, and what kind of special events you have coming up.
Yeah, my name is Ashnichrist. I'm on every podcast platform as the Stream Coach Podcast. Also, Ashnichrist is my username on all podcast platforms. And I'm on YouTube as Ashnichrist. And I'm live on Twitch at twitch.tv/Ashnichrist, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday at 12 p.m. Central Time. And I guess there's like a pretty solid Discord that we have too. It's okay. And there's some other stuff that's going on as well. But that's all my stuff. Oh, social media is all Ashnichrist too. So there's Ashnichrist everywhere. If you're like, does she do this thing? Just search there and I'm probably there.
Yep. First thing on Google. And guys, my name is Ashnichrist. You guys can find me on this very channel 5 times a week. You can find me on Twitter or Instagram at Ashnichrist with 3 A's. And that is actually going to call it for this episode. Ash, thank you so fucking much for being on this episode. It was a blast. And again, it was an honor to have you on. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. It was awesome to be on.
Your poor microphone.
Oh my god, it was so good to be here. Thank you so much for having me. I fixed that one.
All right, well, if you could give our chat one final goodbye and we'll get out of here. Goodbye.
Goodbye.